What's up, everyone? What do you do when someone says to you, I don't believe in God, I believe in science? And people are talking about, well, this is the science and that's the science, so you should do this and you should do that. Well, let me say a couple things about this that might be helpful to you, and you might want to pass this on to other people. First of all, I have nothing against science. All truth is God's truth. If you find out something in mathematics that is true, 3 + 3 = 6, then that's just as true as reading a verse from the Bible. Truth is truth. It's either there or it's not. It can't be partially there. And if we find out something from science, that the Earth has got a circumference of such and such miles, well, then that's true. Truth is truth. All truth is God's truth. So I have nothing against science. However, science is very limited. Science can't tell you what is a good moral action. What should we be doing? I've heard people say, well, science tells us we should be wearing masks. Now, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't use a mask. That's completely up to you. But science doesn't tell us any such thing. Science might tell us what infection rates are with and without masks, but it cannot tell us what we should or shouldn't do. That's a moral and ethical question, has nothing to do with science. Science has no ethical guidance. It just gives us facts. And those facts, too, we're going to talk about in just a second. But science can't tell us, should I start a family or stay single? Science can't tell us, should I move to take that job? Science can't tell us which of these two actions is a moral action. Science can't tell us what is beautiful. Science can't even tell us what is true. We're going to get to that in just a second. But what I'm saying is science is severely lacking in a lot of things. Science can't tell us what is the good life. Science could just give us statistics on longevity and a few other things, and it's up to us to decide what is good. What is good is one of the most unsolvable things by science there could possibly be. So, all truth is God's truth, and science is fine, but it's lacking in all of those things that really matter. Is there something worth dying for? Are there values worth sacrificing for? Science tells us absolutely nothing. It's crickets when it comes to that stuff. So, science is fine in what it does, but science doesn't give us anything that helps us live our lives in terms of shoulds, ought tos, or values of truth, beauty, and all of those kinds of things. So I want to get at the idea of truth. You might think, well, science can tell us what's true and what's not. Well, not really. Here's what I mean. Centuries before Jesus, there was a man named Euclid. And you got familiar with Euclid if you took a geometry class. And you said to yourself, this isn't math, for a whole year. And it's not math. It's just not. Geometry is a whole nother thing. It has very little to do with numbers. Geometry has to do with how we think and how we arrive at truth. This is called the study of epistemology. What can we know and what can we be certain of? And basically, it's two parts. A foundation, you think of a concrete foundation of a house and the structure of the house that's built on the foundation. That foundation Euclid called postulates or axioms, two different words for the same thing. And here's what he says. There's no way to prove any axiom. We just accept it as truth. Much like Thomas Jefferson said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. There's no way to prove that we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For Thomas Jefferson, that's a postulate. That's an axiom. And you have these axioms, and then you build arguments based on theorems, which are put on top, and you come up with a proof to prove that something is true. Here's something I want to tell you. There's no way to be certain of anything being true, including science. Here's why. Because every thought system, including science, has a foundation, a concrete foundation, that is faith statements. And Euclid more or less dared us to come up with any thought system, including science, that has less than 5 or 6 postulates or axioms. In fact, he said we usually work with about 20 when we're going through life in general, 20 faith statements on which we build the skyscraper of our knowledge. Nothing is certain, even science. That's why science continues to change. There is no such thing as settled science. If I were to take the chemistry exam, organic chemistry exam that I took in college, and answered the same way, a lot of my answers would be wrong because we know a lot of things about chemistry we didn't used to know about chemistry. So basically what I'm saying here is, even truth, science does not have a monopoly on truth. Science is a way of gathering information and testing things and publishing results and having other people test and confirm those results. That's all a really good thing. It's an organized way of gathering knowledge, facts, but it doesn't tell us how to live or where to move or what to do or what is good and beautiful or even what's true. That's the good news for today. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel. This is a sort of controversial subject, so I hope you'll send this to people, get it out there in the world for people to see so we can kind of grapple with epistemology. What is true? I believe in science, people say. Well, what does that mean? Well, I've tried to explain that it's a very truncated way of going through the world. If all you believe in is science, you'll never know what is good, beautiful, and true, and you'll never know what you should be doing. I'll talk to you again soon, and please subscribe to this channel, start a conversation in the comments, and I'll talk to you real soon.